Hi, I'm Abdul Man from Morgan Goodwin, and today I'm going to show you how to install the EdgeCTP application into your Shopify store. The purpose for this particular video is basically to show you how you can get the three services that FedEx World Tariff provides, both product pre-classification, estimated duties and taxes, and restricted party screening, which are also available within EdgeCTP, to be able to get them within your EdgeCTP store at the same time once the EdgeCTP Shopify app has been plugged into your store. So this particular video is just going to show you these two aspects. It won't cover the details of what EdgeCTP is, but it will show you how these sort of the three services that World Tariff provides are easily accessible within your within your store using your EdgeCTP app. In terms of overall, I'll go through using the World Tariff services within it. We'll do the installation, we'll sign up to EdgeCTP, and then we'll connect to it. And this is just all a one-time setup. You won't need to do that subsequently. And then once it's all installed, what you would need to do is only these kind of services as and when you need them from within Shopify itself. And then if need be, you can also check your usage of those World Tariff services, either from within Shopify or EdgeCTP. So let's start on over here, and then we'll go through this whole process step by step. So this is a one-time setup that you'll do in terms of installation. What I've got, if I go here, is I've already signed into my Shopify store. So this is me in the store admin side of things, and I'm already signed up. And the first step over here was to install it. In order to install the EdgeCTP application, what you do is you go to apps over here. And when this comes up, you're looking to click on customize your store. You can notice there's no apps installed on here at this moment in time. So when you click on customize the app, it'll come up in a moment. And there you go. It'll take you straight to the Shopify App Store. So this is your admin store is still there, goes to the Shopify App Store. What you want to do there is type in EdgeCTP and then do a search. And you'll come across the EdgeCTP application here. And what you're going to do there is just basically click it. And you'll come to the EdgeCTP page. You can go ahead and read more about it if you want. There's some frequently asked questions, which if you were to click on that, this particular video has a number of blogs associated with it as well, step-by-step guides that are covered within these blogs as well. So you can understand and pick them up if you need to in that area too. Coming back over here, what you want to do is click on Add App. So this is where you're going to be adding that app into your installation. And what you're going to do here is basically you need to be able to log in to your particular store. So the one that I'm as a merchant, I'm Jose Wilson. So I'm going to choose my Jose Wilson account over here. And when you click on this, it'll log you in. And your store there, it's now identified that one overall. You click on that, then take you into the store. And after a little bit of processing, it brings you to this particular screen. You're about to install EdgeCTP into your store, which is Bico City. That's my store. And I'm going to go ahead and click Install App. I click that. This will now take me through the installation process. And the first page that I'll come to is basically now EdgeCTP. Do I want to create a new account? Now, in our scenario, which we showed earlier, they hadn't got EdgeCTP first. So the installation's taken place, the plugin's gone into there. Now what I need to do is, since I'm an existing user of Shopify, I just need to create a new account in EdgeCTP, and that will give me access to these particular services. So to do that, what I'm going to do is going to sign up. And when I click on that, that'll open me up in EdgeCTP and it will say, awesome, let's get you signed up. All I need is an email address when I want to sign up to EdgeCTP. If I click here, here's my email address, right? So I've got a, obviously, if you know your email address, you can then just type it in. I'm just pasting it in there. I'm not a robot. Traffic lights, let's have a guess at that. I think that's correct. Yep, and sign me up. And there you go. So that's actually signed me up. And what it's done is it sent it to my email address, which I've got set up over here. So I'm going to go to my email address. And if I wait a moment, hopefully it'll come through. Let me just refresh that a second. See if that comes up. And there it is. EdgeCTP, please activate your account. So I'm going to click on this. You can see here it's got an activation link, which what I'll do is I'll open the link in a new tab so I can keep that there for a moment. And in the new tab, it'll take me back to EdgeCTP, and it's asking a little bit about my business name. So remember, my business name was Bike O City, for instance, and my first name is Jose, and my last name Wilson, and I'm going to create the account. And there you go. That's my account created within EdgeCTP. So I can now go to my account, and I could have opened that up in a separate email. But if I look at some of my emails as well, if I go back to my inbox, you'll notice I've got a number of emails that have come through, one of which is my welcome email. And in that, I have some of my details. That's my URL to EdgeCTP if I ever want to go back into it. Ultimately, that was my email address. So I'm going to take that, copy that one more time from there. And within this one, I'm going to log in to it. And then coming back here, I'm going to pick up my password. Copy that. I'm going to forget this for a moment. I'm just going to close a few of these down so you guys can keep a tab of where I am. But basically what I'm doing is I'm logging in to EdgeCTP for the first time. So I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to click on login. While that's logging in, I'm just going to give you an update as to where we are. So we installed the app in the App Store. We're signed up to EdgeCTP, which is what we're doing now. Now what we're going to do is, as part of that sign up, then we'll go back to connecting. So just to finish off the sign up, it'll ask me whether I want to save this for next time. Worth doing that. So click save. The first time you come into EdgeCTP, it asks you for your primary address details. So if I say this is in the United States of America, so choose that one. Address line 1, I'm just going to copy some of this on from here, as I had that before. Again, I'm going to assume that you guys know your address and you just type that in. And this is in Memphis. Click that here. And the state of Tennessee. There you go. It's Tennessee. And my zip code, that's that one over there. And I click that one here. And once I'm done, I can check that on a map just to make sure that's good. Yeah, so that's fine. And I can copy that to my subsequent other addresses. So I've got a secondary address and an invoice. I just click on copy to other addresses, and then that's the other addresses. If you happen to have different addresses for your secondary, you can fill those out. I just click on check map just to make sure it's okay. I'm going to click this one as well, and it's all mapped out correctly. Now what you can do is click update. Once you've done that, that's you updated. And effectively, that's you signed up to EdgeCTP. So you've installed it into Shopify and you've signed up to EdgeCTP. A couple of things that you want to do is step number 3, which is connecting the two systems together, both EdgeCTP and Shopify. You want them connected up. So if I go back to Shopify, I'm going to close that one for a second. So I'm going to try and close as many of these down so you can then just kind of follow me as we go along. Within Shopify, within here, we now need to connect the two. So you've got an existing HTTP account. We need to go get these, what they call API keys, which we need to copy and paste into these two locations. To do that, you actually go back to your HTTP and over here in administration, you want to come down to settings. When you click on settings, settings 1 will come up in a moment. And within that, there's a number of things that you could do. Is ignore these messages if you get them. That's just basically saying something about an accounting package that you may or may not want to connect. But let's have a look at the e-commerce side. And here within the Shopify tab, you'll notice that there's 2 keys here. These are unique to your connection. So the first one you want to do is to get the merchant ID. So if you click on this icon here to copy it, right, you then go back to Shopify. And within here, you want to click there, right click and paste it. So you get the key going in there. And then the final one you want is you want the public API access key. So I'm going to copy that one as well. Go back to Shopify, click here, right click it, paste it. So you got the 2 there. Now I'm going to click connect. And what that will do is connect both EdgeCTP and Shopify, the store, together. It brings me to the blog, which tells me a little bit more about how to do the connections and various other things that I can do and so forth. If you wanted to follow that, you can do. Otherwise, you can just click on any one of these services, which will bring up a number of the services that are available to you from World Tariff. So in this case, I haven't done anything yet, so everything's kind of zeroed out. Even if I look at my product pre-classification, there's nothing done so far. Remember, I've just now connected the 2 together. And if I go back to my dashboard, what that will do is actually show it to me. It's all zerofied at this moment in time. So nothing that's happened at all. If I go back to my apps and I click on that, you'll notice there's EdgeCTP. Remember, it wasn't installed before. If I do want to uninstall it, it would be a delete over here, but I'm not going to do that. What I'll do in this case, instead of clicking it from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this particular tab so I can give you a view of both at the same time. So if I look at it within my store, I can look at my products, and I've got a number of products on here already that I'd put in there. Back over here, I can click on here, and then this will give me my dashboard view that we were looking at earlier. So nothing's done so far. I can keep that running on this tab, and then on this tab, I can continue to use all of the Shopify services as I normally would do within the store. And effectively, to show you the way this would work, one of the last and final steps I'll need to do before I can use some of these services, let me just show you one element. If I click on a particular product, you'll notice that it has request pre-classification. So all the services are on. However, there's a critical step that I need to put in place because World Tariff services are chargeable. Back in EdgeCTP over here, one little step is required within customs, right? So if you click on customs, you'll notice there's World Tariff. There's a little bit of description about it. I need to add a payment card associated with it as well. So to do that, what I do is I click on new payment card itself. So this is where I'm switching on the World Tariff services. That's my email address, and it's all done through Stripe. It's powered by Stripe. I'm going to put in a bogus card in here. So because just for the sakes of the demo, 12, let me do that, and then something like that. JC Wilson, something there, and my postcode, which was this one here. And I put that in there as well. And then when I save the card, that'll process it. And because this is just in test mode, it's fine. And once that's done, it'll flick back to Edge. Back in Edge, and what we'll see now is there's a card which is now registered to it. Remember, I told you to ignore those, so just ignore them. Now I can switch on my product pre-classification services to just say, yes, I would like that. When I click that on, it gives me a little bit of description on what the costs are for using product pre-classification. In this particular instance, I click on switch it on, and I agree to that. As you can see, there's nothing there because I haven't used anything so far. And similarly, I do the same thing for restricted party screening and estimated duties and taxes. I could have either or, whichever service I prefer. If I click this one on, this one gives you a little bit more information about it. There is a subscription charge for it, and then there's a subsequent usage charge of RPS and EDT. If I switch that on, I now have the two services now switched on in this particular case. So I can leave that there, and in essence, once that refreshes itself, which it's doing right now, you can notice that I've got both those services switched on, and it's also said that because today is the 21st of October, I've now paid my $99 till the following month, which is the 21st of November. So that charge has been taken from the card that I registered just over here. Now, coming back to, and that's it really, you can now pretty much forget about EdgeCTP. Those are your 4 steps. You do that one time when you initially kick off, and that's the two systems connected. Your card is registered, so your payments can be tracked in terms of usage and service, and you're signed up, and everything's installed. So going back here now, what I'll show you is I'll show you how to do product pre-classification, estimated duties and taxes, and restricted party screening, which is those 3 services working within the Shopify element. So going back to my overall products, you can see those products are there. If I were to, for instance, go to any one of these, I can then go ahead and perform any particular service. Looking down here, you can notice that a lot of this is pre-populated as you normally would do as part of a product. One of the things that it can do here is within more actions, request a pre-classification. I'll do this one once, and there's a lot of ways to do this, but let's keep it simple to start off with. Just going to stretch this out a little bit so you can see a bit more of it. So there's my product. What countries do I want to get this particular product classified for? Let's try Brazil. Say I'm going to sell it to Brazil. I'm going to definitely sell it to the United Kingdom, and I'll also do, say, South Africa, right? So 3 jurisdictions that this particular product is going to go to. And here I've got request pre-classification. When I click on that, what that will do is it will actually send it to world tariff for classification. Remember, I'm working exclusively within Shopify at this moment, and you can see here that the HS6 has been blanked out, the tariff codes are blanked, and it's currently sitting at the planned stage for this Shoei Norik Arbe helmet. If I go across, there is and it's unclassified. The first product is $3. It's going to cost me to get it classified. Haven't paid for it yet. And the subsequent products are $150 each. Again, haven't paid for them until they become classified. The first one's always the higher value cost, but the other ones are discounted if you submit them all at the same time, which is what I've done here. One of the actions that you've got there is the ability to refresh the status, and that after a little bit of whirling, we should get that product classified to the full tariff code. So there you go. So I've got the full tariff code as well as the HS6 coming back, ratifying that for me, and the specific tariff code, fully qualified codes are now available to me, both for those particular jurisdictions that I have. So you can see the stage is now complete. Last updated is there. It's now classified, or when it was classified just moments ago. Status is classified, and there's my fees, and it's already deducted it from the card that I've registered in Edge. So these particular payments are already being tracked. That's what I've paid to date, and that's what my balance is. So I'm not owing any money. It's just basically taking it directly from the card. Total classified was 3, so 3 items are being classified. If I want to, click on, remember this tab, which we kind of kept open, just hit the refresh button on this side, and you'll notice once it comes back that, again, you don't have to do this tab, but it's just good from a demo point of view to show you that it keeps a tab of things in the background and tracks them as you use it. So this is a sort of usage side of things. If I click on more here, what that will do is actually show me the product pre-classification, and there's that same table that we saw earlier now classified and paid up as well. I'm going to go back here, and then from within here, if I look at my products, there's my products again. Now, let's say somebody wanted to buy that particular helmet. One way they could do that is if I go to the online store. And so imagine a visitor coming along to your online store itself and coming along to your catalog, and then having a look and thinking, oh, actually quite like that helmet, picking that one up and saying, yep, that's the one I want, and deciding to buy it now. If we click on that, that should take me straight to my checkout process, which is ideally where I want to be. Within here, I'm just going to put in a number. So something like that, and that will be United Kingdom. And in terms of this one, I'm going to make that my United Kingdom one as well. And we'll go for just a normal kind of person that'll be coming along. Let's use a guy called Mike Smith. Okay. And their address, let's go for somewhere in London. Road, and then if I go for London, United Kingdom, and then it's something like that. Click continue to shipping. Now, when you come to this stage, it depends on the kind of Shopify that you have. In our case, I'm just using the standard Shopify. So if you add Shopify Plus, then it does split out the shipping and duties. But in this case here, it's kind of combined, and there's various ones that I've got here. Just to keep it super simple, just to show you the estimated duties and taxes are done separately. So it's basically showing you those two values, the duties and the sales tax that would be applied. So those two elements, and that's a 208. And you can then combine that into your checkout part so that you have basically delivery and duty paid. If you wanted the delivery elements, we can add those on there as well. But just for this demo's sake, I'm keeping it simple, but you'll get that as a separate line or a combined line of these ones as well. So this is the estimated duties and taxes included into the sale of this. If I click on continue to payment, what you'll get here is I've got a possibility of using a bogus card. Again, this is a demo site, so that has certain advantages of speed in the demo, but it could be a real card that you'd be putting in there at this moment in time as well. So S Smith, and then 12, 22, 1, 2, 3, and we use the same billing address or shipping address is the same. Pay for it now. What that should do is refresh that page, and it should come back with, yes, thank you, Mike, it's been paid, and the address in London to where the goods will be delivered in this case, this particular helmet is done. Now, what I'll do, if I go back to the products, you can see here in my store, I've got orders of 1 sitting on there. If I click on that, there's the order of Mike Smith today, just done, it's unfulfilled. If I also have a look back on my Shopify side of things, I'm going to close this one because I don't need it, but over here on Shopify, and if I go back up here to the dashboard, I click on that, so hopefully it comes up in a moment. Or actually, what I could show you is this one here. Let's come up. Okay. Yep. So here within my estimated duties and taxes, there you go. So there was 2 elements, one at 1749.23, which was the first time I performed it, and that was 80 cents worth payable, was not payable. The reason for that was at that moment in time when estimated duties and taxes were performed, the order hadn't been placed, hadn't been created. And then a few moments later, when the order had been placed, it became payable, yes, and therefore that was when it was paid that particular amount. So it gives you an opportunity to be able to use the estimated duties and taxes, and only pay for them if somebody was to place an order on that. Now, over here, there is restricted party screening, hasn't been charged or hasn't been used at all. Let's put that into action. So if I go back to my orders and I look at this particular order and I open it up, I can notice this is a test order. There is a customer here called Mike Smith. No previous orders have been placed. If I click on Mike and Mike comes up, I can got within Mike's actions, I have perform RPS. So if I click on that, this will then go off and perform restricted party screening, and see if there's any restrictions with me sending my products or this helmet to Mike in London. And I'm lucky, party not restricted comes up, both in the customer notes as well as down in the tags, so that it stays there in the tag. And then just for sort of future reference, if it's also added as a note with a just now or a timestamp associated with it as well. So I can see if there's any restrictions for this particular party. So if I were to go back to my customers, you can see I've got a couple of customers, some which haven't been screened. These were previous ones that I hadn't screened. But here is Mike, who I've just done, and the party is not restricted. So a level of screening has taken place with that particular party. Again, if I go back here now, and I can do a number of things. I can refresh this screen. I click on that. I'll be able to see. There you go. So here in restricted party screening, yes, it's payable, and there's the 70 cents that's required for any of that restricted party screening services that are available to me as well. So in essence, if I go back to my dashboard as well, 1 restricted party screening, 2 estimated duties and taxes. Remember, I did that where 1 was payable, 1 wasn't payable, and then 3 product pre-classifications. Remember, it was the 1 product, but it was going to 3 separate jurisdictions as well. So in essence, coming back to our overview here, we've got check within Shopify store. That's how you would check it to make sure what sort of services you've been using of the world tariff within your store. So it's embedded within your apps, and it's the EdgeCTP app working within it. You don't have to go to EdgeCTP to be able to see any of these. If you wanted to, you could do. You would just basically log in, and once you've logged in, you would go into, so you'd probably land on the home page, which would be over here. Let me just take you through it properly. You'd come across the home page, which is here. And once you're at the home page, just go across to here, go to settings, and within settings, you can go to, once this comes up, customs. So within that, world tariff will open up straight away for you. And there you go. You can now see that even within Edge, for that particular payment card, it's keeping a track of what's taken place. So this was, for instance, that showy helmet that we did earlier with the product pre-classification, when it was classified and so forth, and then the costs and when it was paid for, giving you a balance, due figure as well as paid, etc., which is all shown on there. And then scrolling on down, here is you've got the estimated duties and taxes as well as the restricted party screening. Again, it's giving you a breakdown of what's been used so far. Okay, so, but you don't have to come back into Edge. You remember, you can do pretty much everything within your Shopify store, and the Shopify store itself, whether you're on your home screen and you're using it, it's residing within the apps itself. And when you do go into the apps, it'll give you this particular screen when you open it up, and you can then see where you are. Remember, the more is here, give you a little bit more. So that in essence is all of these elements that we've just covered from start to end. You can check where you are within Shopify and EdgeCTP. I guess finally, you can go to the blogs and you can have a look at them as well. But if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to us in terms of support. We are support@morgangoodwin.com, available all the time. Okay, thanks.